Hello everyone. Welcome to the closing showcase for the Space in the Black Imagination and the launch of our Radical Hospitality zine. There is a doorbell that might go off a few times during the event, so bear with us. We're really gassed to have you all here. It's really beautiful, and whether that's in the space or virtually at home, thank you for joining us. And I'm just going to start with some housekeeping. So with each program, we are trying to make it more accessible, and part of that involves making our events virtual. So we are officially with our virtual guests, so if we can be mindful of keeping the noise down in the space, especially during the sharings, that would be great. For folks in the space, as a reminder, the toilets are just through this door to my left, your right. And as you go through, the toilets are on your right. There's also some toilets at the top of the stairs. We've got some soft drinks here, and the cafe's open if you want a hot drink. And obviously there's food at the back of the space, so if you do get peckish, go and help yourself. Excuse me. And for folks online, we really hope that you'll share your reflections with us by using the hashtag SITBI and hashtag Radical Hospitality. And if you're in the space, you could do the same as well. Our Twitter handle is MAIA_group. So we've developed some ground rules for spaces that we hold, so I'm just going to go through them. So we welcome all forms of engagement: speaking, writing, observing, listening. We treat one another and each other's ideas with mutual respect. We take space and make space, try to sense when to lean in or step back. We start from a place of assuming people have good intentions. Check in with yourself and what you need, and don't feel the need to share if you're uncomfortable. We acknowledge harm and we make space for grace. Does that sound okay? Yeah? So for people in the space, there is some quiet rooms at the top of the stairs, so if you are feeling a bit overwhelmed, overstimulated, or sick of my voice, please just go and have a little sit down up there. So, a very warm welcome to the Lab Showcase. Now, to give you a little bit more detail about what a Radical Imagination Lab is, for anybody that doesn't know, a lab is where we pose questions that relate to MAIA's vision and mission. And then we collaboratively explore those questions with our community and our wider ecosystem. Now, these explorations take place in different ways, sometimes talks, workshops, commissions, and some of you may have attended our 2-week art school. We also explore these same questions with young people and children during Yard Youngers. Now, throughout Space in the Black Imagination, we have been exploring how does Black imagination create portals and prototypes for sanctuary and communion. And as part of this, MAIA has invited a number of artists, visionaries, and dreamers to dance with us in the entanglements of radical hospitality and our coexisting visions of liberation. The offerings they shared have been collated into an online publication called Radical Hospitality. We're really honoured to be joined by some of those artists today, and we're really excited to share their work with you. We also have some offerings from the team, which are included in the zine, and for the first time, we'll be screening a short film created by Art School's filmmaker in residence, which captures some of the magic that happened over the 2 weeks. So I would like to introduce a wonderful lady and the director of MAIA Group, Amara Spence.
Sure, I am Adaya. You see that? Yeah, it's just a blessing to have you guys here. As Adaya mentioned, this whole idea of radical hospitality is something that we're trying to explore together and grow together. Like, what does that even mean? Some of you will know MAIA for the last gazillion years, it feels like, have been trying to grow a physical space rooted in this idea of radical hospitality in the spirit of Grandad's house. And Grandad's house, you know, I will talk about my granddad at any given moment, but this thread of Grandad's house has been something that provocations have been grown from, exploring. Some of you will know, some of you will have been to our home in Ladywood, Yards. Some of you hopefully will come and join us soon. But Yards yard is one of the first sites of imagination where we get to grow that together. I will say that for me, this idea of space and the Black imagination, I always feel like this idea that Black imagination is one of these critical technologies for how we think about liberation. So when Adaya was talking about MAIA's vision, it's a world towards liberation where we come together and practice what does that even mean, what does that look like. So the artists have so generously shared their own ideas, their own framings, their own perspectives, their own artworks in relation to that. But also I want to say radical hospitality looks like Birmingham Open Media, you know, sharing their space with us today. So please, can we just give some love to Birmingham Open Media? Thank you so much to Karen and Lorna for sharing their space with us. It looks like Dane's Catering. Big up, Dane. One day, maybe you'll be in the space with us longer than 5 minutes, but we're not, so you're busy. But big up to Dane for always like nourishing our bellies and our souls. It looks like you guys being here with us today, even though some of you might not have a bloody clue what is going on, you're still showing up on a Sunday. It is treacherous outside, rain, wind, and then sun, I don't know, but you're here with us and we deeply appreciate it. And radical hospitality just looks like us continuing to grow this idea, this spirit together. So I appreciate you all. I'm deeply grateful to all of the artists who so generously shared their own artworks in relation to this. I don't know if you're going to touch on this, Grace, but or Adaya. There is laptops over there. There are laptops over there where you can find the zine. You can kind of like explore it at your own pace, at your own time, and then we're going to have some sharings. But I'm going to hand back over to Adaya, and thank you all again.
For those of you that are worried we've lost today, it's Saturday, not Sunday. Don't worry. Busy lady, doesn't know what day of the week it is. Okay, so thank you for coming out on this beautiful Saturday. So yeah, as Amara said, there is 2 laptops at the back of the room where you can explore the zine. For those online, the links are posted on all of our social media pages, so you can have a flick through as well. Are we ready for the first artist? Oh yeah, we're ready. Okay. Oh. Okay, before we start, we need to give out a huge shout out to the designers of the zine who are in the room. So Khalees and Sandy, stand up. Where's Khalees? Oh, Khalees at the back. So these guys have been working for weeks on this beautiful thing that has been made and contributed to. And yeah, gratitude to both of you. It's really stunning. It's really stunning. So yeah, thank you, Amara. Okay, we're ready now for the first artist. So our first artist is the incredible actor, poet, playwright, and let's be honest, all-round Burmese superstar, Keiren Hamilton-Amos. Yeah, come on. So we're really excited to have Keiren here with us today to perform his poem written for the Radical Hospitality zine, which is titled Wipe Your Feet at the Door.
Hello, everyone. Once the diagnosis is made, they claim that it's only supposed to end in one way. Once you're one of them, 1 9ers, one night, 2 9s will end in 3 of them. A life cut short stands in favor of a life of shortcomings, not cut out to conceive more than the 4 surrounding blocks, so is cut out. The towers and the estates keep hidden the magic of us. Peter and Wendy stand on the corner with the corner boys who never get to grow up, who are told that by their code there is a code to conduct themselves. Heat resistant, impervious to shame, all the talent and skills of a word and a black spiff, but no escape. The petting zoo is now an online spectacle where subjects can be searched and then researched, but remained empty-pocketed. The best bits taken and pillaged and then repackaged for a new consumer to be seen as edgy without having to live on it. Safe with their hands held by their handheld phones. Each click and like, despite the frivolous double tap, primes me to find myself in a world that doesn't exist. To compete with an image of people that I know aren't real. But here I am, Keiren J. Amos at Instagram. Follow me while I reluctantly lead, because I'm what they call the remission. The difference, the change, the rise in position. The hood that found protection from the persecution that rains down. Who walked on the roads with the mandem but crossed the bridge to make it out of the ends. Everything that I am, I owe to the place that I come from. They only ever celebrate you once you're out. The ribbons tie the hardship together and the balloons inflate the crime rate to obtain some type of ratings for finally making it to their party. It's time for you to cut your cake. A baked melee of knew you could do it, was always rooting for you. God, how did you come through it? Well, I didn't. I'm still attached and that's on me. Not because I couldn't leave the streets or some type of gang turf beef, but because I'm only what your magnifying glass is happy to see. I'm not special. I'm not an anomaly. I'm exactly the same as the people that come from the part of my city. You just chose to set your glare differently. So am I needy or am I needed? Am I a nuisance or am I the neutralizer? Am I a nobody or am I your neighbor? Just knock the door and we'll be waiting. Thank you.
Thank you, Keiren. And the wordplay, wow. So our next piece is by an incredible illustrator called Olivia Twist. Olivia is an illustrator from East London who often explores place, the mundane and overlooked narratives. And for Radical Hospitality, they have created 1 Moin Moin 2 Malt. For those of you online, this should be on your screens now. We're just going to take a couple of minutes to look at the work and read the caption. So the caption reads, "From generation to generation to generation, we've known this early. Come for peace is how I know that you got we, and when the time comes, I've got we. Sometimes we fought, pretending to be more vexed than the other, trying to see who could hold out longer. I think it's because we both knew that within no time we would be back at it, dividing things that weren't made for two. Come for peace, truce." If we could have a round of applause in honor of Olivia's work, that would be beautiful. So next, we have our beloved Reisz Amos. So Reisz is an artist who brings a new meaning to the word multidisciplinary and who we are so blessed to have had as an artist in residence during art school this year. From the many tracks Reisz made over the 2 weeks, he has chosen a track which feels most connected with Radical Hospitality. And I'd love to invite Reisz up here now to introduce the song and speak a little bit to the reasons.
Hello, everyone. I stole my brother's entrance. That's my brother's entrance. Can you tell I'm really proud of him? Was that a soppy moment? Sorry. Yeah, no, I'm really proud of him. So yeah, as you hello, into the mic. My bad, because the people online, right? I should know this as a performer, right? So, I am Reisz, and cheating. Oh, that's the image. You're amazing. Kalish, you're amazing. I was just trying to set everything up. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk quickly because it seems like they've lined it all up, right? So, and what's very interesting is I had no idea that my brother was going to speak about dichotomy. I had no idea that there was going to be this whole running thread. It has to be like some kind of divine intervention, right? That there's a duality that we don't understand or we're struggling to get to grips with, that there can be two in one of something, that there are two sides of something. And one of the running themes through art school for me was always that it took so much violence to get to this state of peace. And that's something that really, you know, to comprehend that, once you understand that, or once you try to understand that, you'll realize that both the striking fist and the receiving hand are both needed to create something. So this piece of music that I'm going to play at the moment is a combination of some of the soundscapes that we gathered together during art school, but it points towards what I've got in the zine, so have a little look, but I'm just going to read this quickly. So, it takes radical imagination for radical hospitality, and radical hospitality to facilitate radical imagination. So that then proves that it needs an ecosystem. We need to be cyclical about the changes that we make. I already talked about the dichotomy. Jumped forward. Yeah, so in this piece you're going to hear snippets from 4 tracks. One of the tracks was called Two Hands. Two Hands is basically the violent left and the caring right. They both build, shape and mold, and both are necessary and both dependent on each other. The second snippet is from a piece we worked on called Sanctuary, which is the pleading and the begging on the doors of the chapel for a space we can call safe. We are a versatile people who can make anywhere our home. We're nomadic in our nature, and we carry home in us through tradition, ritual, and practices. But this can be like the misarranged living room at Nan's and like Granddad's house. The next piece that you'll hear a snippet from is Take Me Home, which is an exploration of the destruction we face whenever we build. Usually it's because we build an uninfiltrable sanctuary that is home on the inside but is a threat externally. We're resilient, and faith has played a big part in the persistence to go in the face of adversity, literally using the burning embers to resurrect our salvation. So anybody who's a believer will understand that that is actually a picture, a true description of who Christ is. It's a true description of Christ in the shape of his people. We rise from the ashes, literally. And then the last piece that you'll hear is a piece called The Sound of Brum. Once the smoke clears, we can hear, see, smell our city. It's all in all its glory. It's naked and it's exposed. We're both welcoming and dismissive in the same heartbeat. The siren's call of the market dwellers and the banshee's screech of the institutionalized oppression. So how do we make our city our city? Does sanctuary exist, or must we create it as before? I'm going to shut up now and let them play the piece. Thank you for listening. secret place, sanctuary, where we'll meet face to face.
my footsteps are known. In the land of the living, so loving, so giving. Take me home, dear Lord, take me home.
My God, my God, my God. The walls have tumbled down. The tears are flowing. We're hurt, but our heart is not broken. Our minds are not broken. Our families are not broken. Our love is not broken. And like Nehemiah rebuilt the wall, we shall rebuild the community. We shall rebuild our families. Because it's nothing but bricks and water. But blood, love, salvation, they ain't never gonna take that from us. Amen. Amen, church, amen.
Take me home, where the wind keeps me warm, to the place where my footsteps are.
Birthed me out of the concrete through the thorns and the weeds amidst the pigeons. The city that pinned me against a brick wall, put grey air in my lungs and told me to breathe. The city that gave me my first opportunity in the left and took it from the right. The city I can't leave behind, the city that Nanny made her home and had to fight. The city that has my name etched into its history and on the mouths of the market sellers and the boys in the hood. The city that understands me and yet is so misunderstood.
We have to use every bit of resource that we can in a way that builds capacity for people, whether that is literally mental health support, whether that is cash in people's hands, whether it's this covered, you know, get your certificates, we'll pay for it, whatever else it is. Our thing has to be like, we need our people to be well so that we can organise, you know. We need our people to be well, then we can build. We need our people to be well so that when shit comes up, because it's inevitable, when shit comes up, we've got strength to deal with it.
I come from broken homes, got a broken soul, but you built a place I call home. The one to talk to, somewhere to run to, so I wanna say thank you. You made the best of my bad situation.
So Reisz did ask us to cut it then. We could have listened for hours. That was getting a bit emotional in the corner. So. Wow, that was beautiful. And for those of you that did join us at art school and were able to, you would have seen Reisz working with artists and bringing them into the studio, and just magic just happened. The collaborations were so gorgeous. And I just want to shout out Maddie, who was that beautiful vocal that you just heard. Maddie, give us a wave. Woo! Yeah. Seriously incredible. So yeah, I mean, from one art school legend to another, really, because the next artist is a very, very precious member of the MAIA ecosystem. They are an interdisciplinary artist, designer, and researcher who works heavily with painting, collage, and textile design. Chiizii. So for the zine, Chiizii has created a GIF. Is it a GIF or a GIF? It's a debate for another day. Oh, GIF, okay. A GIF titled Kedu. And live stream family, you should be seeing this now. Chiizii, do you want to come and speak to your GIF? Can we have some noise for Chiizii?
Hi, everybody. Okay, so this is titled Kedu. I actually made it this year after I came back from a residency in Nigeria. And when thinking about hospitality, I chose to make this because it's like a welcome into my practice. So all of the work that you see in this GIF, is work that I've made from 2016 till now. And all of the work has to do with specifically the village that I'm from, which is Onitsha in Anambra State, or the ethnic group that I'm a part of, which is the Igbo ethnic group. Huh? Who said, huh? Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's the work. It's illustration, photography, collage, painting, drawing, illustration, a whole bunch of different things, but that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Chiizii's work, get to know, because it is incredible. Chiizii will be around at the end as well, so I encourage people in the room to go and say hi. So, I mentioned earlier that some of the team inputted to the zine. Now, I am some of the team, and I did input to the zine. Okay. Yeah, MAIA team. So, yeah, I wrote a little something called Love Language. So, I'm going to read that for you. So, this is a love language that sits at our core, a gift we inherited from those that came before, the ones that left a spirit of love in their wake, the one that built the village that we all know it takes. This is a love language that soothes our souls, a generous spirit that makes us whole, like that hole you filled with the warmest smile, like that hole you filled when we sat for a while. This is a love language that we will pass on, so it will grow deeper after we're gone. For our neighbours and strangers and people from ends, for our youngers, families, communities, and friends. Thank you. It's so awkward because I can't just run away because I'm hosting. Thank you. But now I get to introduce somebody else from the MAIA team, my colleague and dear friend, the wonderful Reisz Barrington, who is going to read a little bit of their piece, or all of their piece, called An Ode to Nan and Grandad's House.
Hi guys. I don't read things often, and I did make the running order, so I'm not sure why I've included my name here, but hold me with it, it'll be fine. So yeah, I wanted to write an ode to Nan and Grandad's house, similarly to Amara. I talk about Grandad a lot, talk about Nan a lot, so yeah. My Grandad always tells the same stories while I lie on the settee, 2 cats warming my feet. He used to be a runner, at school, could run a 4-minute mile, just like Roger Bannister, he nods. Nan closes her eyes in the evening sunshine as he retells the story of my first sports day, when the teacher blew the whistle and the children ran, while I looked blankly, disinclined, still standing at the starting line. Grandad tells me recently he saw a ghost in the living room, an old lady with laced-up shoes sitting at their table. He says he did not feel afraid. He knows the rugs upstairs have been moving 3 centimeters each night. Mum has always known the house is haunted. As a child, she would sleepwalk and wake before the grandmother clock. Nan had epileptic visions, once fainted with a hot kettle in her hand, saw a man in the doorway whistling, what a day for her. Babies have been born inside this house. We have always sensed the ghosts. I ran and tripped down the stairs, landing on the cat who screeched. Mum says there was a death next door but one, and for weeks the neighbours heard a scratching in the alleyway. The local police was called, and the scratches seemed to stop. Nan and Grandad met at age 14, married at 16, with babies at 17, 20, 23. They grew fast but stayed young. A life kept small and sweet and tough, and 3 children grew up on not much. The house is full of trinkets, ornamental cats holding fishing lines, fridge magnets, glass animals, cards for play, cards for best, photographs of children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. My granddad's eyes wince with love when he looks to those they've lost. A pantry in the kitchen full of treats, ginger biscuits, tinned fruit, licorice, a tub of glacé cherries I would pluck from in the night, a fridge filled with fizzy pop, wine, Guinness, beer bought for guests, visiting or not, stacks of vegetables, and strange pickle jars spooned generously for good health on your plate. My fingers traced the videos I would watch and rewatch over and over, dancing in Nan's 90s, singing solos, costume changes, pink silk for Frenchie, red for Nancy, a bun in my hair for someone fancy, and I wonder if they ever really knew the freedom that I found in their bedroom. I wonder if they knew what they built for baby Grace, the hurt they hugged out of my body. Nan tucked a hot water bottle into my bed and told me to rest, kissed me on the head. Each morning at 5 a.m, Grandad feeds the birds with seeds, dried fruit and nuts, a layer of torn-up bread, garnished with green grapes, cut into quarters, he says. By lunchtime it is gone. My Nan's hands shake now while she strokes my hair. The colours change, she says again. My Grandad tells me recently he saw a ghost. And I close my eyes and think it's true. I would like to stay forever too.
Thank you, Grace. Amber, are you crying? Yeah, I'm not crying. Are we going to the film now? Yes. So we have got some artists travelling from far away, and trains are really reliable in this country. I don't know if you've heard that. So we're mixing up the order a little bit. Yeah, what I'm about to introduce is very special, and it's from Yonatan, who was our filmmaker in residence at art school this year. Now, the piece that he's shared for the zine is different to what we'll be watching now, but this is a piece of work that came out of art school. Yonatan is a truly amazing filmmaker and local superstar. It's been an absolute blessing to have been able to work so closely with him over the last couple of months. And this film from art school captures much of the magic that grew across the 2 weeks and in the space. And it is called Yard Love.
So when responding to the prompt, all of us in the studio thought, Maia's doing an already amazing job at building these spaces that they are trying to create. So yeah, a lot of us come from very dark spaces, but when we come here, we're allowed to live in the sunshine, even if it's just temporarily. So we wanted to say thank you. Yeah.
My life, my life, my life, my life in the sunshine. My life, my life, my life, my life in the sunshine. My life, my life, my life, my life in the sunshine. My life, my life, my life, my life in the sunshine.
Started from the bottom, never thought I'd make it. Emotions fully clothed, now I'm standing naked. Felt the need to grow, just as a reminder. God is in the air, I don't need to find you. Little baby boy, one day you'll be king. And all the broken toys, they won't mean a thing. You're welcome in the spaces where the future's brewing. Just checking in on me, seeing how I'm doing.
No faking, know that I'll make it. Catch me in a yard for the vibes we created. No faking, we can all make it. Filled with all the vibes in the yard we created. No faking, know that I'll make it. Catch me in a yard for the vibes we created. No faking, we can all make it. Filled with all the vibes in the yard we created. Come here when you need me. Let your heart be true. I'm here when you need me. Always here for you. My life, in the sunshine. Yeah. My life, in the sunshine. It was so dark. My life, in the sunshine. Yeah, yeah. My life, in the sunshine. I come from broken homes, got a broken soul, but you built a place I call home. The one to talk to, somewhere to run to. So I wanna say thank you. You made the best out of my bad situations. You give me love, you don't need explanation. And when I'm sad and alone, you say just pick up the phone and come over, so I can live my life in the sunshine. Yeah. My life in the sunshine. It was so dark. My life in the sunshine. Yeah, yeah. My life in the sunshine. 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 My life in the sunshine.
Woo, Yonatan, that film is so beautiful. It's quite emotional, actually. I'm filled with gratitude right now for everyone that shares this space with us, for everyone that creates that atmospheric vibe. Like, I know you felt something watching that, right? It's not just, you can't really be detached from it, and yeah, it's really a feeling. It's really, I'm actually gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. So we're going to take a 10-minute break. So for those of you that didn't get something to eat earlier, please do go and have something to eat. And I just wondered, during that break, maybe have some conversations about how you're feeling about the sharings, any reflections you have, what your idea of radical hospitality is. And when we come back, I'd love to maybe hear just a couple of reflections from people. Thank you so much. So I hope everybody had a lovely break, and hello again to the people at home or coffee shops or wherever you're watching us from. I wonder if anybody has any reflections they'd like to share, or anything really from our kind of, oh, someone's already got their hand up. Oh, wait, you need the mic. Us people at home aren't going to be able to hear you. So we're hearing from, in fact, Adaya, can you come up for the live stream? Come on. Bring your plate, it's fine. Yeah. Okay, this is Adaya.
You know, it was There's a live stream, you know. Look nice? All right. No, a quick reflection was that it was interesting when somebody's work was gifts, but it was GIFs. But when it was saying gifts, I was like, oh, that's really cool, because gifts sounds like gifts with the T, and it's kind of like just how we say gifts, like we give gifts. And so in a way, it was like they were also given a gift. So that was my reflection, just on the word gifts, but gifts. So yeah, blessings, share gifts, yeah, man.
Thank you, Adaya. And if you can't tell, Adaya is a poet, so. Does anybody else want to share any thoughts, feelings? Yeah? Marsha, it's funny because I'm about to invite you guys up in a minute anyway for a no, but Marsha, come through.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to share that when I was trying to figure out my space in the creative field in Birmingham, I wrote on a post-it that the poetry community in the UK is as big as its imagination for itself. And then I discovered MAIA Group and all the work that you guys have been doing, and you've radically shifted my imagination in other ways. It's not just the poetry community that's as big as its imagination for itself. It's us as a collective, as people who care about art and care about livelihood and making each other feel good. That shifts the dimensions and the limits in so many cool ways. And thank you for this food.
You're so welcome. Thank you, Marsha. So we've got time for one more audience reflection. If anybody would like to share. Don't be shy. No, you can't. No pressure. No. Oh, yeah. Can you come up for us? Is that okay? You look lovely, so we'd love to see you. Thank you. What's your name? I'm Michaela. Thank you, Michaela.
Yeah, this kind of like just got me remembering like my nan. So she lived with us when we were little, and yeah, this kind of like started reminding me of like how comforting she was and how mad she was, and yeah, the comforts like around that and the importance of like that community, particularly within Blackness and growing up in a matriarchal household. So yeah, I loved it. The vibes are immaculate here. So yeah, love it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Michaela. So can we have a round of applause for our impromptu audience sharers? Okay, so as part of our lab, some of you might have seen that we had a micro fund, which is where we commissioned 4 artists, black practitioners based in the West Midlands, to reimagine Yard as a site of sanctuary. Now, 4 of those artists are in the room today. So before I welcome some of them on stage, can we just have a really warm reception for Lorna from Black Mama's Birth Village? Woo! Ajay, who you've already met once today. Marsha. And C. Woo! So they all took over Yard and created their own sites of sanctuary. They invited communities in and put on an event for them. So Ajay, I'd love for you to come and maybe speak about that experience and how radical hospitality linked to your event.
I love how I just walked up and somebody giggled. That's the energy I want to give. Actually, let's start there, right? Somebody said there can be, was it Bell Hooks that said something like there can be no meaningful revolution without humor, something of that nature. And so for the project was part of a season of emancipation project, which is still going on in schools and community. But the thing that happened in MAIA was, related to this idea of asking, like, what gifts, what is the gift of art in our lives and in these tender times, and how can we use our gifts to shift towards collective liberation? And what does it look like to hold space for each other, to give each other joy whilst not denying our pain? And so these were the things that MAIA allowed me to explore in the space. And so I'm grateful. And it was really beautiful also to see the reciprocation between the people who were in the space and the people who were speaking, and yeah, so I feel like I'm grateful to be in a space which practices that reciprocation, and kind of reciprocity shows us, that we each have gifts, and that our responsibilities are kind of tied to them in some ways, maybe, as Robin Wall Kimmerer says, that I think she says something like, the creator gave the wood thrush the gift of song so that she could sing the forest goodnight. And so, just trying to help people, hold space for people to find out maybe what their gifts are, or to share their gifts and see how that can shift us towards collective liberation. So thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for having me. And also just thank you to each of you for like your gifts and your light that you are going to share or that you have within you, you know? So yeah, just want to give thanks for all of you. So yeah, blessings.
Thank you, Adaya. Marsha, could you come up and speak a little bit about your event and how that felt being at Yard?
Thank you again. So my event was an exploration on love poems and the traditional forms that have been used, such as the sonnets or ballads, but it was tapping into the Black lineage of art that have been reimagining sonnets, from Elinor Coleman to Terence Hayes to the blues poems of Langston Hughes and so many other artists that get underrepresented. And it was also just a space for love. Each poem brought out something in everyone that was so beautiful and gave me so much to think about. The most key concept was the idea of once you are developing, even as an artist or in a relationship, you reach ego death. And people don't talk about love death. In a relationship, you end up evolving and changing, and it's about wanting someone to see you as who you truly are as you enter into that space. And I think every single poet left equipped, moving into a new space with new words, of new ways of rhyming or using rhythm and meter that have been seen as traditionally European, but are very much things that Black people can make the best of, because how we speak is unmatched, personally. So I loved having the opportunity to do this at Yard and wouldn't have traded it for the world, and so I'm really, really grateful.
And I was actually in Yard at the time of your event, and there was just so much laughter and joy coming from the space, so I think you held it really beautifully. And finally, I'd love to invite C up, who also held an event as part of our Space in the Black Imagination Lab.
So I've written some things down. Oh God. So I just want to say, like, speaking on radical hospitality and imagination, I just feel like I'm happy that I sort of, oh gosh. I'm happy that like I sort of encountered MAIA and Yard, and I'm happy that I've been like welcomed into this space and like having that's sort of like how I learned about radical hospitality and the use of imagination as like an important tool for world building and for detachment from a dysfunctional society. And I feel like radical hospitality, like on discovering it, I've just realized that it's a starting point for so many possibilities, and it sort of is a space where there is opportunity and just boundless joy, creativity, and love. And yeah, I might ramble a bit, but yeah, I think Yonatan's film sort of embodied that as well. That film just made me feel that, you know, everything, that we're all together and like anything's possible when we are all together, being, you know, I guess mutually hospitable. My event was based on or around rest and recovery. I feel like it's something that a lot of people can't afford. I feel like it's a basic need that's sort of been stripped away from, I guess, the majority of people because of how our society functions or doesn't function. I basically took a holistic approach towards recovery, and it was, basically centered around rest and inviting people down to just acknowledge that they deserve to rest, and they deserve to rest in luxury and comfort, and this shouldn't just be reserved for, you know, a certain demographic, certain people. It's really dangerous how we've monetized recovery. You know, when you think of the spa or, you know, having a massage, we've really made it, you know, part of capitalism, when really it should just be part of life. And a lot of cultures embody that. A lot of cultures take that on. Maybe not our culture, not our capitalist culture, but, you know, a lot of cultures do. And maybe we should make it a part of our lives. We should just make it, you know, just a part of life, a part of living, a part of existing, the right to rest. And I've written like a little thing, because you said, you didn't tell me to write it, but you said I was gonna. Oh God. But I was like, I just quickly wrote something. So, radical hospitality, you've opened my heart, my stomach, my mind. You've allowed me to believe that sanctuary can exist. Though alien to these things and stubborn to accept them, I now know that through mutual love and care, through art, we can make the changes we need. And yeah, I really want to, I feel like I need to thank everyone here. Like, I need to thank the whole team. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to sort of express my needs. When I was like writing or like applying or whatever, I was really tired, and I just felt like I needed to sort of give people what they needed and also give myself what I needed. So thank you for letting me do that. Like, I really appreciate everyone here.
Thank you, C. You're so welcome. So we have got 2 more artists here with us that have contributed to our zine. They've travelled from a long way on British trains. So can we give them the warmest welcome? I will introduce them first. So firstly, I'd love to invite up the wonderful Janine Francois, who in their bio describes themselves as a black feminist killjoy, writer, academic in exile, time traveller, and professional heckler. I mean, they're perfect, right? So for the zine, they have written An Ecology of Love, Love That Time Travels, Open Love Letter, a Diary. And we're really excited that they're here today to read their piece. So please join me in welcoming Janine. Woo!
Hi, everybody. Oh, hi, everybody. It's really interesting because I often teach, and I'm an academic, so I'm used to doing this, but I write for the page and not the stage, so I don't normally read my work out. However, I had a friend who's was talking about pushing our boundaries to read our work out, and this is the second invitation that I had this year to do that, so it feels really great to develop another skill set. So to give a bit of context about this piece, it's about my relationship with a black man. And I realised how hard it is as a black woman to love a black man, and mutually. White supremacy creates so much bond of discourse and confusion, and at every possible juncture to not make it possible for black people to love each other, but to be constantly desiring and dreaming towards whiteness. And this piece is about our kind of love battle, trying to make it through our own respective trajectory. As I said to him on Thursday, I should be with some white man with a lot of money, and he should be with some white woman with some mixed race kids. And we're not, we're choosing each other, and that's a big deal. So that's what this piece is about. The 5th of May, 2023. If I knew then what I know now, would I respond to the situation differently? If I knew the last time I saw you was going to be the last time I want to see you, would I have chosen my words differently? The 17th of April, 2023. I want to kiss the corners of your lips and feel the stickiness of your breath on my neck. The 16th of April, 2023. Were you scared when you stepped into my depth and saw yourself reflected? Did you lose footing in waters unknown to you? Was it frightening being seen when you're so used to being invisible? It's a shame that you come accustomed to paddling in shallow waters and controlling the currents, yet you yearned for something deeper, but fear drowning in mine. I hoped the current would pull us together, but it didn't. What a shame. The 10th of April, 2023. You were attracted to my glow, but thought my warmth would burn you. You ran off scared, not because you were scorched, but because I saw it too. We were both fireflies. I cannot imagine wanting to be a bee, although I do understand why some of us pretend to be bees when we're fireflies. We are religiously told how brilliant daybreak is for bees and wasps and hornets and everything else but fireflies. But no one tells us that the midnight sky belongs to us. No one tells us we shine just as bright amongst the stars and the moons. I know, being a firefly is dangerous. We remind the bees and the wasps and the hornets and everything but us of our presence and our power, that the stars and the moons and the midnight sky belongs to us. Deep down, I always knew you was a firefly and not a bee. The 7th of April, 2023. The liminal space between outgoing heartbreak and incoming possibilities. The 5th of April, 2023. When I was 10 years old, I almost threw away some honey. However, my mum showed me how to breathe new life into it. She engulfed the jar in some hot water, and I watched each honeycomb loosen. The softening reminded me when one wakes up from a slumber, when the melting honey escapes from a lava from an erupting volcano. I remember finding this so alchemical, and thought of my mother as a divine sorceress who possessed forbidden celestial powers. I thought, is this what happens when you offer someone a second chance, when you thought it was initially over? Your sticky light heaviness reminds me of that very hot honey. I'm left wondering what magic can I conjure to remind you of your sweetness, the sweetness I once breathed in but did not get to taste. The 2nd of April, 2023. Systems of domination often try to convince me that my version of love could not exist. But how is that even possible when I exist? If I exist, then the love I'm manifesting must exist, as the two are relative to each other. My existence informs the other, and its existence informs me. If I get to determine my reality in and out of oppression, surely I have the right, the power, and the capacity to determine how love is going to be governed within and outside of it. It feels like quantum physics, but you're digging my science, right? The 2nd of April, 2023, 2 entries that day. Perhaps it was the winter months that made the healing take longer. Those long dark nights and the short grey days made it harder to see the new love emerging in the horizon, shadowed by a perpetual overcast. The 17th of March, 2023. The spirits who met over a decade ago waited patiently to be reunited in human form. The time has finally come, and after years of battling against systems of domination, which tried their best to keep them apart, the two spirits walked away victoriously. The 6th of March, 2023. The archives hold the memories. It is our responsibility to activate them. The 27th of February, 2023. Trying my best to resist flight mode. It's so hard when anxiety trains your body to deal with interpersonal connections this way. The thoughts are, this isn't working for me, but actually it's about unmet needs I've not yet shared, but somehow expect you to meet them. The 20th of February, 2023. You told me what I wanted to know without having to ask. 19th of February, 2023. Intuitively speaking, I now know, but my ego just wants to be told, and emotionally speaking, I need to be held. The 6th of February, 2023, their birthday. They lit up the skies with fireworks from their guns. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Janine. Also, you have a mesmerizing voice, so please keep reading your work. Okay, so Radical Hospitality is a beautiful publication, and it ends with an incredible short story written by Theophina Gabriel, titled Sanctuary. The piece centres around an intimate queer love story set within the queer sanctuary setting of Abuelos, where radical hospitality is built into the framework and fabric of the space. It is a piece full of romance, possibility, and softness, and a perfect example of the power of queer speculative fiction. So I'd love to invite Theophina to the stage to read an excerpt of his piece. Woo!
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Theophina. I don't really feel like introducing myself. I feel like the introduction has done its job, so I'm just going to jump straight into it. The title of the piece is called Sanctuary. Sam lowered their duffel bag at the foot of Abuelos. The building's dark orange bricks seemed to soak up the sun. Straining his neck up 3 flights of silver stairs, he gazed at an entrance where an arching lemon door sat, curved like a half-sun setting above a metal hill. The art hotel was long and rectangular, a once comfortably sized factory building that wore its stubborn, rusted blue and red exterior like a proud auntie refusing to take off her coat in the sun. The bricks simmered proudly in the afternoon sun, and Sam couldn't help but smile. They had read that, despite the inside being completely refurbished, MAIA had refused to sacrifice Abuelos' industrial brum exterior. That hadn't stopped them from adding a few fun touches, however. Twisting down the side of the building, Sam spotted a 20-foot electric blue slide as an alternative exit method and chuckled. Strangely, the slide didn't seem out of place, even though it could have easily been more at home in a fairground. Looking down the length of the burnt red building with its arching windows, Sam could already smell an energy radiating from inside of Abuelos. An air of reassured boldness, a simmering, why not, that invisibly invited him in. Lifting his duffel, Sam wheeled himself over to the left pillar of the steps and pressed the neon call button with their knuckle. His shoulders ached, and as they rolled their arm, they noted a small sensor that would allow someone to pass and enter the building without assistance. A smooth voice broke his thoughts. "Hello, is that you, Sam?" The voice startled him through the silver-hatched circle. Yes, it is. Hello," he mirrored back, surprised at the warmth that echoed from his own voice. "I traveled from Asper, and I'm staying here under the mentor agreement. I've been emailing Amber." "Sam, it's so good to finally hear your voice. I'm Amber. I'm coming down to grab you. Look for the elevator to the left of the stairs. I'll be in yellow overalls." Sam gripped the rims of both of his wheels firmly and began to glide towards the glass elevator. It was only a short distance, but before they could wheel themselves again, an attractive, short, black person strode out towards him, one hand nestled deep in the pocket of their sunny-colored dungarees, the other waving gently at him. Sam's eyes fell across Amber. Amber's face was wide, with slender features that balanced it. A long nose split 2 full cheeks, and their sharp bird-like eyes nestled comfortably between pointed brows that lifted an elegantly sloped forehead. Amber's skin was the same shade as their brown-black eyes, and their medium-length afro was split elegantly into 2 puffs. The right side of their hair was a delicious burnt orange, the left a pastel mint green that looked like a scoop of pistachio had liberated itself from an ice cream cone. An assortment of silver piercings of varying lengths hung from both their ears, and their eyebrows matched each side of their colored hair. Underneath Amber's flat button nose, a golden septum winked in the sun above 2 full lips, which curved into an electric smile as they neared him. "Do you do hugs?" Sam nodded breathlessly as Amber hugged him, a deep orange sideburn slicked into crescents, catching his gaze as they leaned in. Amber smelled like acrylic paint and weed and burnt sugar. Their mint afro puff tickled his ears, they straightened. "So good to have you here, but equally, if you don't want to talk, if your journey's tired, you don't have to." Amber's gaze didn't quite meet Sam's, but their long opal fingernails spoke warmly for them, catching the afternoon sun like talons and flashing it into iridescence as they led Sam towards the elevator. Sam nodded, was grateful for the offered silence, and began to sign his acceptance in BSL, just as he had remembered in the guidebook MAIA had sent him. His journey from Asper had indeed been tiresome, and although his arms were very strong, his body was weary from clearing people out of his path with his voice. Sensing their deep breath, Amber gestured towards the handles of Sam's wheelchair as the doors pinged open. "Do you need any help?" they signed, their hands hovering just above his yellow grip handles. "Nah, I got it," Sam replied quickly, ignoring the heaviness in his eyelids. As they ascended, Sam took in the scale of the 2-story red brick building again and its indignant industrial skeleton, old and proud, new and soft, a futuristic inventiveness clothed proudly in its history, concerned with preserving heritage, but unafraid of breaking convention. Everything these days was cold, sleek, metal. Sam's fingers itched for their sketchbook, yearning to commit the blue brickwork patterns to memory. There were very few red brick buildings left that weren't being swallowed up by private new builds. As the lift hummed past a circular stained glass window, his fingers itched again. And for a moment they toyed with the idea of dipping into their satchel quickly, just to catch a brief outline. But just as his hand hovered above the lever latch, the glass doors pinged open. Chapter 2. There's no foyer or waiting area inside Abuelas, Amber explained as they stepped fully out of the lift, because here nobody really waits to be served. Everybody serves everybody else, ourselves and each other. Sam saw this was true as soon as he entered Abuelos. There was no reception desk or lobby or waiting staff. It was simply outside and then inside. And inside, Amber whispered as the lift doors closed behind them, was the sanctuary. The sanctuary was a long, octagonal vestibule that greeted Sam with a gigantic domed skylight ceiling, dark forest green walls, brightened only by the mass amounts of light streaming down from above, ran high around the wide room, hugging all 8 of its sides until it felt small and more homely than its grand size. "I never saw this skylight from outside," Sam asked in awe. Amber grinned. "Our roofs are deliberately high, and the skylight sits in the middle. There are many hidden design features of Abuelos that you cannot see from outside." Soaking in the different areas around the sanctuary, Sam saw that Amber was right. The sanctuary was nothing like outside. 2 pillars on the right side of the grand room supported a wide balcony where several black people were reclining on beanbags with books, sketching on futons, or lounging in blonde hammocks that hung from the ceiling. The dull, sweet smell of festival was drifting in from somewhere deep within the building, and the air flickered between the weight of a living room and a library. The sanctuary was at once heavy and familial, gentle and scholarly, a grandparent's house on a Sunday filled with comfortable evening chatter that sunk into the quiet softness of a library in certain corners. Sam's architectural eye roamed restlessly, picking up on the blended details of several influences: Greek pillars, windows of heaven, Islamic temple floor designs. He felt an immediate and insatiable urge to get his hands on the blueprints to this building, to see all of its secrets undressed before him. The lines of the sanctuary's 8 walls were soft suggestions rather than hard indents, giving the whole room the magical illusion of being a circle, and at the center was a mini paradise of peach couches, coral-colored lounge sofas that lay in a circle in the center of the room, spotlighted by the skylight. Accessible from both sides via winding steps or ramps, this lower area was cautioned off from the rest of the room by large leafed foliage, so that it looked like a hidden alcove dented into the ground. Sam caught the eyes of two black people below as he peered through the green leaves. They had been talking passionately in hushed voices, but when they spotted him, they paused, flashing him a welcoming smile before dipping their heads back down into their deep conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Theophina. I love that line about here, nobody serves anyone. We all serve ourselves and each other. And what a way to end today. So I'm going to say bye to our live stream folks. Thank you so much for joining us. This camera. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. And for those of you in the room, thank you for coming out on a Saturday, not a Sunday. I really hope you've enjoyed yourselves. We're here for, I think, what time is it? Is it half an hour maybe? It's good. Okay, 15 minutes. So we've got Tupperware, so please take some food home with you. Yeah. In the back of the room, there's also, you might have seen like a cardboard Wendy house. There's a question. If you've got time, you can answer to that question on a card and just pin it up for us. And other than that, thank you. And we really hope to see you soon at Yard or in town or anywhere, really. And Grace wants to say something.
No, I want to thank also all of the contributors to the lab as a whole. There's quite a lot of amazing facilitators and speakers that we've had over the last few months that couldn't make it today, but yeah, just everyone that's made this lab what it is, it's been so precious, and we're really grateful, and we hope that you'll stay close by, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you.